Hello, I am Bentham, and welcome back to Factorio Railworld, where right now we're in the middle of the main base, getting ready to go back to the midpoint and continue our journey around the lake, or maybe not. I guess we'll be doing a lot of work on the midpoint before we carry on with the journey, so that we've got plenty of stuff in the way of supplies. But anyway, we're over at the circuit outpost because there's something I forgot to do last episode. There was an attack a short while ago, and something got blown up, and I found out where it was, and I'm going to replace the one turret with 3 to make sure that if the biters do come along again, it's going to be a fair bit more difficult for them to break through. So that should be fine. The circuit outpost should be safe. Still no walls or anything there, but that'll probably be fine. There's plenty of turrets and the biter attacks don't come very often. But anyway, we've got one more big thing to work on before we go back to the midpoint, and it's a new train. And this one is going to be delivering coal because we've got multiple we've got multiple trains now that go between the midpoint station and other stations that don't fuel their trains. So what we need to do is get some coal up to midpoint so that we can supply all the trains there with it. And if there's anything to craft, we can do that. Though I guess the only thing that you would really craft with coal is plastic, and we probably won't be doing that at the midpoint. But anyway, we're going to get this set up so that the trains can all run fine, and we won't have any trouble there. Well, I think there's some weapons you can make with coal. I forget, some sort of explosives or something, I don't know, but anyway. Oh, grenades, that's what it is, grenades that use coal and iron. But anyway, we're just setting up this line right now, and then we're going to start mining the coal, loading it into a train, and the train is going to go, what it's going to do is it's going to take the place of the current coal train that we have, because we do have one that runs between the oil outpost and the circuit outpost, because the oil outpost has its coal deposit, though of course, as we've been seeing recently, it's starting to get it's running out a little bit now. After supplying the factory for the entire game, it's getting towards the end of its life now. So we want to take the pressure off and make use of some of the other coal deposits that we have around the place. And this one that we've got right by our the main section of our rail network is huge and will definitely supply us for the rest of Railworld, I think. Actually, I probably shouldn't say that because I don't know how long this series is going to last now. I might just finish it forever. Someone was asking recently if there were going to be more episodes now that no crafting challenge is finished, and the answer is I'm not sure. I feel like starting a new series, I've got an idea of what I want to do, so that we might just go for that and stick with the one episode of Railworld a week, because it feels like the sort of series that will just never end and will always be there. And if I keep burning through episodes at 3 a week like I used to, then there'll be nothing left to do fairly rapidly, I imagine. Well, maybe not. I don't know where this is going, really. And I don't really want to finish it anymore, so the more episodes I do, the sooner the end comes. And I don't know. But anyway, that's enough about that. What we're doing is sorting out the train for loading up the coal. We've got a bunch of wood from chopping down trees, and our inventory is completely full, which means it's a little bit fiddly to move things around. We've currently got a chest nearby with a little bit of wood left in it. We're just sorting out our signals and things, and there we go, all of the rail stuff is in place. I did consider bringing the branch off the main section just north of here, but I decided to avoid interfering with that section, seeing as it's quite a major thoroughfare. Thinking about it though, it probably would have been too much of a problem to have a branch coming off here. I could have even done it in a slightly different style, depending on how I was feeling. But anyway, we've put in 10 mining drills here in our usual arrangement, and I imagine that'll be enough to supply any needs that we have. At the end of the day, we're only fueling a few trains. Well, I say a few. I think it's all the trains of the circuit outpost, because we'll be taking over the duties of the current coal train, and all of the we'll be fueling all the trains that go to midpoint as well. So it is a fair bit, but at the end of the day, trains don't burn coal that fast, so 10 mining drills is probably enough. So we're sorting out our loading system, and I think I'm going a little bit over the top here because I'm using blue belts and belt balancers and all sorts to get the coal delivered as rapidly as possible to all of the inserters. Really, I probably don't need that, and I could probably just use normal belts and be fine. But anyway, we've got it all done now, so we might as well use it. And we'll put in our substation there, and then one more, and then a long-range pole, and that manages to power the entire outpost, which is nice. We put all the efficiency modules in, and then for the moment I put some limits on the cargo wagons because I want to wander off and check on the current coal train, just after having a quick check of the power, seeing how that's running, because of course we have had some trouble recently with it. it seems to be alright at the moment. I think things have been winding down in the factory now, because it's managed to deal with most of the requests of the mega train. But anyway, we're on the little coal train, we're just following it along, seeing what it's like on the other end. And what we're going to do is park it up here and unload it, because of course we don't need this anymore, and it's got a full cargo wagon of coal just sitting there that's not going to be made use of. So what we'll do is sort of re-merge it into the system that it originally came from, and have it turned into plastic. Now while I'm here, I notice that plastic doesn't seem to be moving very quickly. There doesn't seem to be much being loaded into the train, which is interesting, and we'll go check up on that when we get back to the main base, see what's going on there. But anyway, we're going to increase the capacity of this unloading area so that we can try and get all the coal just unloaded straight away. And if we do that, it means that we can get rid of the coal train here. And for a while there won't be any trains visiting this, so I imagine eventually all the coal here will be used up making plastic, and then we'll have to have the coal train visiting here to deliver it, which is quite an amusing sort of complete flip of roles there. But anyway, we've managed to get the train unloaded, that's all good, and we've deconstructed and off we go to sort out the new one. And as we go through the base, I'll have a look at the plastic, and what it looks like is that there's just not much going on anymore. All the belts are full, not much is being produced. I think there's only there was like a couple of modules to be made, and I guess destroyer robots probably still need making, and that's pretty much it. The factory's quiet again after a while of being completely hectic, and I guess it'll stay like that for a good while, because we're going to start relying on the Midpoint base once we've actually got that set up and running properly. So yeah, we'll be leaving this behind for a while, I imagine. Well, I say that. We keep coming back to it like every other episode. So I don't know if I want to say that we're just going to be going and not coming back, because we probably will be, for one reason or another. We'll probably run out of blue belts again, to be honest. But anyway, we're back at the new coal outpost. It's been named and everything, and I decided to do a rejig, because I realised that 2 full cargo wagons of coal is probably more than enough. So I'm just going to cut it back down to the 1 cargo wagon, meaning that really all I needed to do was move the old coal train over to here and change its timetable, rather than messing about building a new one and destroying the old one. But whatever, it's done now, and we've got the loading system. Still using blue belts, and that will be more than fine. But there we go, everything is set up. I've got the cargo wagon being fully loaded. I don't know whether that's a good idea really, because I don't think I'm ever going to use 30 whole stacks of coal at once anywhere, but whatever, we'll set up the timetable. We'll hop on board the train. Of course, you have to wait 30 seconds for it actually to set off, because that's how much time I gave it here to make sure that it's absolutely fully loaded before it sets off. And then I forget what the time is like. I think it's got 20 at the other 2 outposts. It might have 30 at Midpoint. Actually, probably not, because I want to cut. I don't want things to be sat in Midpoint for too long. It could clog things up. But anyway, we've checked how it unloads at the circuit outpost, and then we're going to let it go off on its way, because of course we've got to get on board the mini train and take that back to the base to make sure that we've got all the materials that we came back for in the first place. So let's go over there right now, and I think we'll set off. Here it is. Everything's been unloaded from the forward cargo wagon, and everything's loaded in the rear one, and I'm pretty happy with how much is in there, so I think we can just go. So we'll hop on board and set it up to go to Midpoint, and off we go. And this journey is actually a little bit quicker, I think, than when I take the Mega Train, because of course the Mega Train takes a lot longer to get up to speed, and I think it does have a lower top speed just because of how much mass there is to it and whatever. So this is a nice quick journey along, and we enter the passing points area, and you're going to get to see the passing points being used in a second. I believe we encounter the coal train on its way back. I forget exactly, we'll see it in a moment. And you'll see we start to slow down, we park up here, and then there goes the train. I think that was the coal train, and then we move on. So that's the basic how the passing point system works. It may have been a little bit too fast to see it properly, but I guess you can slow down the video and get a proper look at it if you're not sure about how the mechanics of it work. But anyway, we've arrived. We'll unload the mini train, and then we'll deconstruct it, or we'll try to, but we've run out of inventory space because of course we've just unloaded the mini train. So we'll quickly dump a couple of things that we don't urgently need back into the mega train for storage, so that we've got enough room to actually get rid of the mini train. We'll also deploy another 50 logistics and construction bots, because we brought some of those along with us. So it would be a good idea to just add a few more into the system. There's the stone train that's arrived, and I've just decided to add some limits to the cargo wagons, because at the moment, again, they're all at full capacity, which is just wasteful really, because we're not going to use that much stone for anything. But anyway, I'm just having a look right now, at the loading system, because this is a little bit fiddly. We've got multiple trains coming to this this one same station, and we want to unload stuff from all of them. We don't want to get it mixed up, so I'm deciding on the way I'm going to set it up, and eventually later on in the episode my decision is that I'm just going to have different inserters for different materials rather than try and mix them up and have like a filtering system. So hopefully we're one of so many different things being delivered here that it becomes a bit of a problem unloading them all. If it does do that, we could always set up a new station on the other side of this line. There is enough room between the line and the wall, so we'll just see what happens. But here is the coal train, and so we're going to set it up to load the other trains. Unfortunately it runs off before we have a chance to actually use it. But I've got the positions in my head of where the train and the cargo wagons and everything are, so I can work out where we want to have it, and it's a pretty simple system. We've got a smart... Well, actually, it's quite an amusing system when I think about it, because it's a smart inserter leading into a long-armed inserter leading into a fast inserter. So it's a nice sort of team effort there by the different types of inserter. And we'll leave that to do what it can when the trains actually come along. And let's start making use of the stuff that we've got delivered. We got a bunch of blue belts, which we were in urgent need of if we wanted to carry on using blue belts in our system. So we're going to start setting up the iron, and the reason it's taking so long is I'm deliberating over whether I want to extend the column later on. I decide that we probably won't be using iron in such copious amounts that we'll need to have a 16 furnace long column. We'll probably be fine with what we've got. Anyway, I'm putting some roboports around the place just to increase the logistics range. That was one of the things that we resupplied on while we were back at home, to make sure that our logistics system covers pretty much the entirety of this, what was it called? Because I called it Headland and someone came up with a much better name, which is also true, and I've entirely forgotten it, so that's annoying because I quite like the name. Anyway, we're putting lights everywhere, because I know some of you don't like it when I leave everything unilluminated. It's not too bad with this because I've got the night vision goggles on at all times, but it's still just a generally good idea in sort of in the twilight times when the night vision goggles haven't kicked in. It can sometimes be a bit difficult to see what's going on. We'll line the entire outer wall with it so we can get good sight on any biters that attack. We've just plonked them around in all of the places where there's anything really that is worth illuminating. So we're looking at the unloading system again. There's one more thing that we need to unload, which is the stone, and then we've got all 3 different trains that come here covered, though we don't have the mini train covered. That's the sort of thing that we'll just deal with manually, I think, because the mini train should only be used when we're visiting home ourselves, I think, or we send it off on a one-off journey. I don't think the system it uses is reliable enough to use it for regular deliveries of anything. So if we did do that, we'd probably just get a new dedicated train for other things. So we're having a look in the mega train, resupplying on stuff again, or actually we didn't. I don't think we even resupplied. We just looked at it and thought about things. Here comes the stone train, so we can test the unloading there. And I do a little bit of tweaking, add in a new chest with a very limited capacity for stone. So it all goes into one chest ultimately with 5 stacks spare, and pretty much all of that stone will go into the production of rails. A small amount of it will go into stockpiling some walls in case of damage, so that the bots can replace them. We're going to try and make this a sort of self... what would you call it? I forgot. I'm forgetting all my terms today. A fully self something outpost. My brain is just dead. It is very hot right now in England, I should mention. Like, ridiculous in terms of what we're used to. So it is a little bit difficult to concentrate. But anyway, I'm battling through. I've got a bucket of ice next to me. And I'm sure all of you people in the hotter countries are calling me a wimp for that, because I imagine that you have hotter days. Well, I know there are people who have hotter days just every day than we're having right now, but we're not used to it, alright? Anyway, I'm setting up the supplies of copper and iron. We've now got a smelting area for copper set up, and we're going to start making a production line. And it's going to start with just being sort of general stuff. We're going to just get various different materials that we might want or need for something, so that anything we particularly want to craft, we should have the stuff handy for it on one line. It's going to be very similar to the specific production line that I have in, or I had in the No Crafting Challenge. It's going to be not quite the same because the No Crafting Challenge one had 2 items per belt. This one's going to have 1 item per belt, so that it does still have a fairly high capacity for stuff flowing through. I don't know whether we'll make much use of that, but we'll see, and you'll see how it works once we've made it. And right now we're over here sorting out some more power stuff because it went horribly wrong. We set up a bunch more furnaces and they broke the power system, though I realise now that it was because I didn't have efficiency modules in them yet, but it's still a good idea to put in some extra power production, because of course we've got laser turrets and things like that, and they can suddenly need large amounts of power at unexpected times, so it's something to watch out for. Anyway, we put enough solar panels and accumulators, I think, to deal with the demand of the furnaces, though they've now shut down because the belts are filled up and everything, but of course you want to have the system in place anyway. Anyway, there's a train over here that we need to set up. It's one that I had before. It's the train that goes to Mega Copper 1. I deconstructed it earlier on because we didn't have passing points put in then, but now that we do, it's going to be fine. So we'll set it up so that we can get a constant supply of copper coming in and continually fueling the furnaces. Unfortunately, something goes wrong with me sending it off. I tell it to go, and it just doesn't. And there's nothing wrong with its timetable. It just seems to have got confused and won't move. And I'm telling it to go to Midpoint, and I think because it's already parked there, it's a little bit confused, but I've also told it after 30 seconds to go to Mega Copper 1. It doesn't do that either. In the end, I move it forward a couple of meters, and then suddenly it runs fine. Though it does come looping right round to park at Midpoint before it sets off to Mega Copper. That's not really a problem. The coal train has just arrived, so we've checked on how that's running. I've added in an extra chest to help with the unloading, because an inserter unloads twice as fast into a chest as onto the ground. And not twice as fast, I think it's 5 times as fast, what with all the research. So where possible, you want trains to unload directly into a chest, even if that chest only has a small amount of capacity to it, and then you quickly transfer it over to something else. So now that we've got all the trains set up that we need, we're going to start working on our production line. I'm just making some space here to make sure that we could fit in a second copper smelting column if we needed it. I don't think we will need it, but it's good to leave the space for that there. So I'm grabbing, I think, some assemblers there from the train and maybe some other bits and bobs as well, so that we can start setting up our basic stuff. And of course we're going to start with gears and circuits, add those to the lines, and then go from there. We'll probably also have steel involved. We'll probably set that up next episode. But what we're going to start on is a little scalable gear production system. It probably doesn't need scaling. I don't even know if we need to have 2 assemblers for it, but it's a good idea to do that, of course, because you're never sure exactly what's going to happen with your factory. I mean, well, maybe you are, but in this particular case, I'm not 100% decided on exactly what this factory will and won't do. So it's just good to have some redundancy and have some space for improvement. We've got the assemblers in place, but I haven't actually got them supplying the gears yet because I'm still sort of deciding on the layout, making sure that I'm happy with it. I started setting up a circuit one, but I realised that I'm overlapping the area that I would be putting a new copper smelting column in. So I do a bit of rearranging, move things along a bit so that I've got enough room to set that all up, and I can line it up with the gear assemblers to make sure that's all nice and sort of symmetrical looking, I guess. So there goes the copper line, and then we'll do a little bit of filling about with the blue belts to get the iron coming in and the gears going out, and then we'll decide whereabouts the gears are actually being delivered to. And I've now given the assemblers all of their jobs, and all the various inserters and things. No power yet, but we'll get there momentarily. There goes the iron going in. I'm about to put the gears going out, but then I decide that there's no point having them jump across the line of belts, so I have them on the other side instead. And we'll put in the power once we've done that. Well, once we've decided exactly where we're going to put them, and then connect it up to the system. There they go. We've got the gears and the circuits coming in, though of course at the moment they're all coming in on the same side, so we need to sort out some balancing. And unfortunately, because this is quite a compact system, because it's going to be quite small scale, there isn't that much room to move things. Luckily, there's an underground belt already in place with copper that gives us just enough room to put our standard corner balancer in for circuits. But because of the positioning of the substation, I can't do the same for gears. So what I do instead is just have one inserter supply each side of the belt. and that should do it fine. We'll extend the lines along a bit just to get it going, and well, there you go. That's the basic first bit set up, and what we're going to do is get it loading into some provider chests to make sure that should they be needed anywhere, they can be provided. However, I've just realised that they're going straight into no, actually no, they're not. I thought they were going straight into the construction. No, I mean the storage chest, but it looks like they aren't, so that's fine. Anyway, once we've got all those set up, we are pretty much done for the episode. We'll just get the filters and the limits in the right place, and then we go. We've got our basic little production set up, and so I shall say goodbye. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.